The Galactic Council chamber was a place of immense power, a place where countless species gathered to decide the fate of the galaxy. Light flowed like rivers through the colossal space, bouncing off crystal-like walls that stretched for miles. Hundreds of delegates floated in anti-gravity seats, their eyes fixed on a massive holographic screen at the center. On it, an image flickered, showing a ship older than most civilizations present. It was the human relic, the Leviathan. A hush fell over the chamber, but it lasted only a moment. Then, as if on cue, laughter erupted. The Vorax ambassador's long limbs shook with amusement. "Is this a joke?" he sneered. "A single ship, rusted and forgotten, that humans call a warship?
It cannot even take on a single scout fleet."
His voice echoed, carried by the chamber's amplifiers. The laughter spread like wildfire. Other council members joined, their mocking tones filling the room. Some of the younger species giggled nervously, unsure whether to join or stay silent. Even the stoic Kralians, known for their measured calm, allowed a brief smirk. "Humans," said one, "are nothing but fragile creatures. Their pride is far greater than their strength. They cling to stories and relics of the past, hoping it will protect them in the present." But not all voices in the chamber were filled with ridicule. Some species, those who had observed humans closely, felt an unease they could not explain. In their eyes, there was something in humanity that no technology or intelligence test could measure. A spark of determination, a stubborn refusal to yield. They felt it in their bones, though the council as a whole dismissed such feelings as superstition. Meanwhile, in the shadowed corners of the chamber, a human ambassador, small and unassuming among the towering delegates, listened silently. His heart pounded, but not with fear. It was anger, sharp and steady, tempered with pride. He had grown up on stories of the Leviathan, stories of a ship that had survived centuries of war, attacks, and near destruction. A ship that had been humanity's greatest weapon, hidden and protected for generations, and now the galaxy laughed at it. "You laugh," he whispered, more to himself than anyone else. "You have no idea. The Leviathan was more than a ship. It was a symbol of humanity's resilience, a testament to the ingenuity of a species that had survived floods, plagues, wars, and cosmic disasters. It was the culmination of centuries of human knowledge, designed to withstand the impossible, to rise when everything else had fallen." The council's holographic image flickered again, zooming in on the ship's hull, showing its scars and marks of age. "Look at it," said Thrin, the Vorax ambassador, pointing at the screen with a clawed finger. "It is old. Its weapons are ancient. Its engines are slower than the fleets we command. What hope does it have against us?" The human ambassador remained silent, his fingers clenching. He thought of the crew who had trained their entire lives, ready to awaken the Leviathan from its long slumber. He imagined the engines humming to life, the shields glowing, and the weapons hidden for decades ready to roar. The council's laughter would not last. It would end the moment the Leviathan moved. But for now he watched, silent and composed, as the delegates laughed, mocking his people, mocking humanity. A fire ignited in his chest, a fire that no council chamber, no mocking words, and no galaxy could extinguish. The humans would show them. They always had. Somewhere in the distant void, the Leviathan waited, patient and powerful. And when the humans finally awakened it, the galaxy would learn a lesson it would never forget. For the moment, though, the laughter echoed. And humanity, silent and underestimated, listened. Far across the galaxy, light years away from the mocking laughter of the Galactic Council, humanity stirred. On a planet blue and green where oceans met continents, humans prepared for a moment the galaxy would never expect. Hidden in orbit above Earth, the Leviathan floated like a sleeping giant, its hull scarred from battles long past, yet stronger than anything the Council imagined. Inside the ship, Commander Elena Marks walked briskly down the metallic corridors, her boots echoing against steel walls. She was tall, with sharp eyes that seemed to see everything and a calmness that belied the fire burning inside her. Around her, the crew moved with quiet precision, preparing the Leviathan for a mission that could change the galaxy forever. Every human aboard knew the stakes. They were small in number, but they carried the weight of an entire species on their shoulders. "Commander," said Lieutenant Rian, adjusting the control panels. "All systems report operational. Weapons are ready. Shields are at maximum efficiency," Marks nodded. Good, keep it steady. The galaxy thinks we are weak, thinks we are fragile. Let's remind them why humans survive. Her voice was calm, but it carried authority. Every word inspired confidence, every command ignited resolve. The Leviathan itself seemed to respond, its ancient machinery awakening from a long slumber. Engines hummed softly at first, then grew louder, resonating through the ship's hull. Energy surged through conduits that had been dormant for decades. Humanity's pride, determination, and ingenuity flowed through the ship as though it were alive. Below decks, engineers worked tirelessly. Sparks flew as they calibrated ancient systems, rewiring old circuits and ensuring that the Leviathan could perform maneuvers no modern ship could. This was not just a relic. It was humanity's secret weapon, a masterpiece of engineering and strategy, and now it was about to awaken. Marks walked to the observation deck, looking out at the blackness of space. Stars glimmered like distant candles, and beyond them, the council fleets laughed at a species they believed insignificant. "They have forgotten us," she whispered. "But we remember ourselves. We never forget." The crew stood silently behind her, a mix of young cadets and veterans who had trained their entire lives for this moment. Some were nervous, but none wavered. They knew that humanity had survived impossible odds before, and now, armed with the Leviathan, they would show the galaxy that survival was not enough. They could dominate. In the quiet hum of the ship, memories of Earth's wars and struggles filled the minds of the crew. Humanity had faced extinction on their home planet more times than anyone outside the species could imagine. Plagues, famines, invaders. They had risen from each calamity stronger, smarter, and more united. And now, the Leviathan carried that legacy into the stars. "Prepare for activation," Mark said. "We are about to remind the galaxy that humans are not just survivors. We are warriors. We are engineers of our destiny. We are the Leviathan's crew." A deep vibration ran through the ship as systems came online. Lights shimmered along the corridors. Weapons hummed with energy, and the shields glowed a faint blue. Every crew member felt it, a pulse of power, hope, and determination. They were no longer just humans in a small ship. They were the bearers of a legacy, a force the galaxy had overlooked at its peril. Far away, the council continued to laugh, unaware that their underestimation would soon cost them more than they could imagine. For the Leviathan, patient and waiting, was about to roar, and when it did, the galaxy would learn that humanity's strength was not measured by size, numbers, or appearances, but by heart, courage, and the will to survive against all odds. Commander Mark stood tall, her eyes fixed on the stars. Humanity's silent rise had begun, and the universe would never be the same. The void of space stretched endlessly, cold and silent, yet heavy with tension. Humanity waited, hidden in the shadow of distant stars, their secret weapon, the Leviathan, ready to awaken. And then they appeared. The Council's fleet approached like a storm, immense and menacing. Ships larger than cities drifted through the darkness, their weapons gleaming like distant suns. Each vessel radiated power and confidence, a show of strength meant to intimidate anyone foolish enough to challenge them. Millions of tons of alien technology moved in unison, a tide of firepower that could crush planets with ease. Commander Elena Marks stood on the bridge of the Leviathan, her gaze steady, unwavering. Around her, the human crew prepared, their faces a mixture of focus and resolve. "They think numbers alone will win," she said softly. "They think strength alone decides victory, but they do not understand humans. They never have." Lieutenant Rian glanced at her, eyes reflecting the bright stars beyond the viewports. "Sir, our fleet is small. We are outnumbered by millions in mass and weapons." Mark smiled faintly, a calm determination in her expression. "We are outnumbered, yes, but not outmatched. Humanity survives because we adapt, because we fight smarter, because we never give up. Let's show them what that means." The first vessels of the Council entered the detection range, their scanners immediately locking onto the Leviathan. The alien commanders sneered at the tiny human ship visible on their screens, a relic they believed harmless. "Prepare to annihilate it," barked one of the Council admirals. "It cannot resist our power. It cannot survive a single strike." But the Leviathan did not move in fear. It waited, patient, coiled like a predator ready to strike. Ancient sensors activated, mapping the incoming fleet in astonishing detail. Every ship, every formation, every weakness. The Leviathan knew them all before the aliens could react. Marks pressed a hand to the console, feeling the vibrations of the ship as it came alive. Hold positions. Let them come. We strike when the time is right. The first beams of energy shot across the void, powerful enough to cleave through steel like paper. The human crew held their breath. The Leviathan's shields absorbed the impact, glowing brighter, shimmering with an intensity that caught the council commanders by surprise. A series of countermeasures activated: electromagnetic pulses, gravity distortions, and old human tricks that no modern alien fleet had ever encountered. Small ships sent out swarms of decoys, confusing targeting systems. Mines and hidden turrets emerged from the Leviathan's hull, striking alien vessels without warning. The council fleet faltered. Their confidence wavered as ships began to retreat or explode in brilliant flashes of fire. Confusion spread like wildfire. "Impossible," roared Admiral Thrin, his voice echoing across the command deck. "They should have been destroyed." "We have overwhelming power." Mark's eyes narrowed. She watched the chaos unfold, feeling the thrill of strategy and execution. Every move they had trained for, every tactic humanity had refined over centuries was working. The Leviathan was not just a relic, it was a testament to human ingenuity, courage, and spirit. The crew felt it too, the rising tide of hope and power. They were outnumbered, yes, but never outmatched. They were not fighting for conquest. They were fighting to show that humanity could not be dismissed, could not be ignored, could never be underestimated. Mark spoke to the crew, voice firm yet inspiring. "Steady, focus, remember who we are." Humanity fights. Humanity survives. Humanity roars. Today we show the galaxy why they should never forget us. And as the Leviathan glided into battle, its ancient engines glowing, its weapons poised and ready, the galaxy began to understand a truth it had forgotten. Humans were not to be mocked. Not ever. The void of space was alive with fire and light. Explosions lit the darkness like distant supernovas as the Leviathan moved with a predator's grace. The council fleet, confident and arrogant, had thought victory was assured. But now they were learning a hard lesson. Humans did not fight like anyone else. On the bridge, Commander Elena Marks stood tall, her eyes sharp and calculating. Every command she gave was precise, every order timed to perfection. Around her, the crew worked as one, anticipating her thoughts, moving with a unity that came from years of training and trust. The Leviathan was not just a ship. It was a living symbol of humanity's resilience. Shields at maximum. Weapons targeting the lead cruiser. Lieutenant Rian reported, voice steady despite the chaos outside. "They're trying to flank us from the left." Marks nodded. "Deploy the countermeasure drones. Lead them into the trap. Focus fire on the cruiser once they are in range." Outside, the first council ships hesitated. Beams of destructive energy struck the Leviathan, yet its shields held firm. Every strike was absorbed. Every attack met with countermeasures that no alien fleet had ever anticipated. Small, almost invisible drones darted through space, slicing into engines, sabotaging weapons and confusing targeting systems. The humans moved like shadows, striking where no one expected. A massive cruiser exploded in a brilliant flare of light, debris scattering across the darkness. The council commanders froze, unable to believe their eyes. "This is impossible," roared Admiral Thrin, voice trembling with disbelief. "We have the power of entire systems, and yet—" Marks cut through the tension with calm authority. "Fire the plasma turrets. Focus on their formation. Do not let them regroup." The Leviathan's weapons fired with precision, old but deadly, destroying key points in the council fleet. Alien ships collided in chaos, some retreating, others destroyed. Every maneuver the humans had planned was executed flawlessly. The council had expected a weak human relic, easy to destroy. Instead, they faced a force that anticipated every move, adapted to every tactic, and struck with deadly accuracy. In the council chamber, whispers of fear replaced laughter. They fight as one diplomat said. "Their coordination, it's almost like a single mind." But it was not a single mind, it was human determination. Each crew member aboard the Leviathan understood one thing clearly. They were fighting not for glory or conquest, but for the right to be respected. Humanity had endured wars on their home planet that had destroyed civilizations. They had survived famine, plague, and countless invasions. And now, in the cold void of space, They would prove that survival had forged them into warriors the galaxy could not ignore. Marks moved to the command console, her fingers flying over controls. She could feel the pulse of the Leviathan beneath her hands, a heartbeat of energy and power. Now unleash the ion torpedoes. Hit their center fleet. Make them understand who they are dealing with. The torpedoes launched, streaking through space with deadly precision. Explosions rocked the Council fleet, scattering ships in every direction. Confusion and panic spread among the alien commanders. The laughter had vanished, replaced by fear, disbelief, and desperation. Marks looked out at the chaos, her eyes calm, yet burning with fire. Humanity was not just surviving, they were winning. And with every strike, every calculated maneuver, every act of bravery, the humans aboard the Leviathan sent a message the galaxy could not ignore. Underestimate us at your peril. The battle raged on, but one truth had become undeniable. The Leviathan was not just a relic, it was a statement. A warning. A roar that had begun to shake the foundation of the Galactic Council's arrogance. And in that endless expanse of stars, the humans knew one thing with certainty. They would not stop until the galaxy remembered their name. The battle had raged for hours, and the void of space was littered with the wreckage of alien ships. Flames and smoke trailed across the darkness, reflecting the chaos that had shaken the Council fleet to its core. Yet amidst the destruction, the Leviathan remained unscathed, moving with calm precision, a living embodiment of human ingenuity and determination. Commander Elena Marks stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the tactical display. The Council fleet had underestimated them, believing the Leviathan was a relic, weak and outdated. Now the truth was painfully clear. Humans were not weak. Humans adapted. Humans fought smart, and humans never gave up. "Ryan, status report," she said, voice steady, cutting through the tension like steel. Lieutenant Ryan's hands moved rapidly across the console. "The alien formations are breaking. Their left flank is in disarray. Turrets are down on their central cruiser, and shields are failing on several battleships. If we push now, we can turn this fight completely in our favor." Marks nodded. "Prepare the gravity pulse. Target the command ships, disrupt their coordination. We're not just fighting for survival. We're showing them who humans really are." The Leviathan's pulse generator hummed, a deep vibration that seemed to shake the very stars. When activated, a wave of gravitational energy rippled outward, throwing alien ships off course, disabling engines and collapsing formations. Chaos erupted among the Council forces. Ships collided with each other, unable to maintain control, their once perfect strategies falling apart in the face of human brilliance. From the observation deck, Marks watched the effect with quiet satisfaction. They laugh at us, they mock us, and yet they do not realize that humans are not just survivors. We are thinkers. We are fighters. We are a force they cannot contain. The crew moved like a single entity. Engineers redirected power to weapons, shields, and maneuvering thrusters. Pilots executed maneuvers that no alien mind could predict, weaving through the wreckage with deadly precision. Every attack from the Council fleet was met with countermeasures, traps, and clever tactics that left the aliens bewildered. In the Council chamber, panic spread like wildfire. Delegates whispered, some even screaming orders in desperation. "Pull back! Withdraw!" cried Admiral Thrin, but it was too late. The humans had seized the initiative. The fleet was no longer attacking. They were being dismantled piece by piece, outsmarted and outmaneuvered at every turn. Marks pressed a button on the console. The Leviathan's ancient turrets lit up, releasing a volley of plasma torpedoes with pinpoint accuracy. Ships exploded in brilliant fireballs, scattering debris and sending shockwaves across space. The alien fleet faltered, their confidence shattered, their arrogance destroyed. But it was not just strategy that carried the humans forward, it was heart. Every crew member felt it, the fire of centuries of survival, the spirit of a species that had endured famine, war, and near extinction. They were not just machines operating in space. They were humans, united, courageous, and unyielding. Marks took a deep breath, her voice calm but firm. Focus on their command center. Once it falls, the rest will follow. Humanity does not surrender. Humanity does not retreat. Humanity wins. As the Leviathan unleashed its final coordinated attack, The remaining council ships were thrown into chaos. Many surrendered, some fled, but none could match the brilliance, the courage, and the will of the humans aboard the Leviathan. For the first time, the council realized they had underestimated more than just a ship. They had underestimated a species that refused to bow, a species that refused to be ignored, a species that could rise against impossible odds and triumph. And in the silent corridors of the Leviathan, the crew felt a quiet pride. The battle was far from over, but the tide had turned. Humanity was not just fighting, it was roaring. And the galaxy would never forget that roar. The void of space was quiet now, except for the lingering hum of the Leviathan and the crackle of debris drifting among the stars. The council fleet, once confident and mocking, had been shattered, scattered, and disorganized. Ships that had boasted immense power now floated helplessly, their crews stunned by the unexpected ferocity and skill of humanity. Commander Elena. Mark stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the tactical displays. The Leviathan, though scarred from the battle, moved with steady power. Every crew member was tense but focused, knowing the galaxy was watching, knowing that this moment could change everything. Ryan, Mark said, her voice calm but firm. Status report on enemy command vessels. Lieutenant Ryan's fingers danced across the console. Several command ships disabled or destroyed. Remaining ships are fleeing or surrendering. Their coordination is broken. They didn't expect humans to adapt so quickly, and now they can't respond effectively. Marks allowed herself a small nod. They laughed at us, called us weak, dismissed us, and now... She paused, looking out at the stars. They are learning what humans are made of. On Earth and across the systems where humans watched the battle unfold, messages of awe and fear spread like wildfire. Other species who had long underestimated humanity whispered in disbelief. A single human ship, they realized, had outsmarted fleets hundreds of times larger, using not only technology but tactics, creativity, and courage the galaxy had never seen. In the council chamber, the atmosphere had changed completely. The laughter that had once echoed like music was gone, replaced by tense silence. Delegates stared at the communication screens, unable to process the devastation before them. Ships of unimaginable power had been destroyed, their crews humbled by a species they had dismissed as insignificant. Admiral Thrin sat frozen in his command seat, fingers gripping the armrests. They shouldn't have survived, he whispered, voice trembling. We outnumbered them 1,000 to 1. They cannot have defeated us. Marks heard the alien transmissions faintly through the Leviathan's long-range receivers. There was panic, disbelief, and now a thin thread of fear. They thought this was a relic, Marks murmured to her crew. They thought it was a joke. They thought they could destroy us without effort. But humans never surrender. Humans never stop. Humans roar. Around her, the crew worked tirelessly to stabilize the Leviathan after the battle. Engineers patched minor damage, weapons recalibrated, shields reinforced. Each person aboard felt a swelling pride. They had not just survived, they had shattered the arrogance of a council that had once believed they were untouchable. Marks walked to the observation deck and looked out at the stars. She saw alien ships retreating, debris drifting silently, and the vast emptiness that now stretched between humanity and the Council's forces. It was a moment of triumph, yes, but also a reminder of the responsibility humanity carried. They had been underestimated for centuries. Now the galaxy was watching. Prepare communications, she said softly. Let them hear us. Let them know humanity is awake, that we are not to be ignored, that we are not weak. A message was sent, clear and strong, broadcast across every listening system. Marx's voice, calm and resolute, carried humanity's warning. You laughed at us, you called us weak. You dismissed our power and our resolve. We are humans. We endure. We fight. We survive. And now, we will be remembered. The silence from the council was deafening. For the first time, arrogance had been replaced by fear. The galaxy had seen humanity's strength. The Leviathan, a ship once thought obsolete, had roared, and the echo of that roar would linger in the minds of all who had witnessed it. Marks, turned from the viewport, her expression firm, her heart steady. The battle was won, but the war for respect, for recognition, for humanity's place in the galaxy was just beginning. And the humans aboard the Leviathan were ready. The galaxy, for the first time, knew that humans were not to be mocked. Humanity had risen, and it would never be underestimated again. His stars glimmered in the void, silent witnesses to a battle that had shaken the galaxy. The Leviathan floated among the wreckage, its hull battered but unbroken, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. Around it, the remnants of the Council fleet drifted, some surrendering, some fleeing, all forever changed by the encounter. Commander Elena Marks stood on the bridge, her eyes sweeping across the control panels, then out into the vast emptiness of space. She felt a calm pride, tempered with the weight of responsibility. The humans aboard the Leviathan had achieved what no one had believed possible. They had turned the tide of the battle, shattered arrogance, and reminded the galaxy that humans were a force to be reckoned with. The crew moved quietly, each person aware of the enormity of what had happened. They had fought not just for survival, but for the honor of their species. Young pilots who had never seen battle before now stood seasoned and confident. Engineers, who attended to the ancient systems of the Leviathan, smiled quietly as the ship hummed with life undiminished. Marks pressed her hands against the console and spoke softly to herself, though the words carried weight. This is what it means to be human. We endure, we adapt, we fight, and when the time comes, we roar. Far away, across distant systems, news of the Leviathan's triumph spread. Beings who had long dismissed humans now whispered with awe. Traders, scientists, explorers, and diplomats all felt the shockwave of humanity's victory. A single ship, carrying a species underestimated for centuries, had turned back fleets, larger than worlds, had faced the Council's power and come out victorious. In the Council chambers, silence reigned. The laughter of before was gone, replaced by fear, respect, and disbelief. Delegates stared at their communication feeds, unable to deny the undeniable. Humans had risen from their small blue world and challenged the galaxy's most powerful forces, and they had won. Mark's voice echoed through the Leviathan's intercom, calm but resonant. This ship is not just metal and weapons. It is the spirit of humanity. Every human aboard it represents centuries of survival, ingenuity, and courage. Let this be a message to the galaxy. Humans are not weak. Humans do not surrender. Humans roar, and when we roar, the universe listens. Outside, the Leviathan rotated slowly, its massive hull catching starlight. Though scarred and battle-worn, it gleamed with quiet power, a symbol of endurance. Ships from other systems approached cautiously, sending signals of respect and acknowledgement. For the first time, humanity's presence in the galaxy was undeniable, respected, and feared. Not for conquest, but for strength and heart. Marks walked to the observation deck, standing tall as she looked toward the distant blue planet below. She thought of Earth, the planet that had forged humans through countless trials, the world that had given rise to courage that could not be measured by size or numbers. Humanity had come far from its cradle, yet it remained rooted in resilience, determination, and unity. Her hand rested on the railing as she spoke to the crew, her voice carrying warmth and pride. You have all done what no one believed possible. You have defended humanity. You have reminded the galaxy that we will never be forgotten. This is our legacy. The Leviathan is our roar, and it will echo through the stars for generations to come. The crew nodded, understanding the depth of their achievement. They had faced the unimaginable and triumphed, not through brute force alone, but through heart, ingenuity, and unity. And so, the Leviathan returned to orbit above Earth, a silent guardian, a legend reborn. Humanity had proven itself, and the galaxy had taken notice. The Council would remember, the stars would remember, and every species that had doubted humans would carry that memory forever. Commander Marks turned once more to the stars, her eyes shining with determination. Humanity had roared, and now nothing in the galaxy could ever underestimate them again.